If I were to rank the strangest edits in The Sopranos, I think the number one strange edit that most everyone is aware of, the Livia Soprano one, where they took Nancy Marchand's head and superimposed it over another actress's body. I think the number two strangest edit is my personal favorite. It's the one from the Cold Cuts episode, that really bizarre freeze frame with Carmela walking away from Wegler that comes out of nowhere. Today we're going to cover what I consider to be the third most strange edit in all of the Sopranos series. I have gotten a handful of requests to do this one, and I haven't made a strange edits in the Sopranos video in a while, so what better time than now? The strange edit we're doing a deep dive on today is from the season 2 episode called House Arrest. It's the opening scene. It's the very first thing you see in the episode. The guy backs the garbage truck up right into the parking lot and then unloads the entire payload of random food and debris into this guy's parking lot. And he's pissed off. He comes yelling at the truck and the truck pulls away. In a plot sense in season 2, what's going on here is that this whole dump of garbage on this random guy's store was orchestrated by Richie Aprile, and it's just part of the rising tensions that have been building throughout season 2 between Richie Aprile and Tony. What's the weird edit in question? Well, it comes after the garbage is dumped. Convenience store owner calls Richie Aprile, and then we get a back and forth dialogue cut. There are 3 very weird, infamous bad edit shots in this scene. I'm just going to play them for you. Check them out.
He comes here, he dumps the garbage all over the place. Goddamn garbage! You didn't make full pickups on 12, 16.
What's so weird about this scene? Well, if you didn't notice, there's this very awkward looking giant pile of garbage in front and behind the deli owner as he's arguing on the phone. It doesn't totally match up lighting wise or color wise. It's kind of cut out weird on the edges. It doesn't move right with the rest of the scenery and the camera movements. It's just very, very strange. I am a full-time professional video editor for my day job, so today we're going to have some fun looking at this under a microscope, nitpicking every little thing we can, and try and find out what exactly is going on with this weird fake pile of garbage. There are some other weird things going on in the scene that I want to talk about first. First item on my list isn't anything necessarily bad or wrong, it's just a little continuity thing. So this is the very last frame of the shot where the truck pulls up, passenger side tire is right over the white line there in the parking lot. Now this is the very first frame of the next shot. Notice where that passenger side rearmost tire is. It's not in the same position. It's not right over that line. I think obviously what's going on here is they move the truck between shots. You can see there again, back tire on the line, back tire off the line. Probably they got out and reshifted the truck between shots just to get everything framed up exactly as they wanted it. Next thing I thought was odd about the scene was the sequence of shots when the garbage is being dumped. So let's take a look at it. First thing that happens is this garbage guy unlocks the back of the truck, he gives a signal to his buddy still in the truck, and then the garbage starts dumping. Next shot is we see the garbage dumping. Then we get a little wider shot of the deli owner coming out, and notice no more garbage is falling out. It looks like they've dumped all they have to dump. And then the very next shot is more garbage dumping. Maybe they're just doing this for dramatic effect, but when you watch it naturally just in full speed at the order they intended you to watch it, it just looks strange to me. It's like garbage dump, garbage is done dumping, and then garbage dumps again. Now, obviously, hindsight is 20/20. I wasn't there in the editing room back in the day. I didn't know who was telling who to do what. Regardless of all that, what would I do now in 2025 to improve this little montage? So I would take that second shot of the garbage spilling after we've established that the garbage is done spilling, and I would make that the final shot. So no more garbage spills after this shot right here. So the original sequence looks like... Here's my edit to try and improve the general flow of these shots. One aspect of the fake pile of garbage that I question is its height. How tall is this thing supposed to really be? I think that's one of the reasons it looks so fake. The camera angle us as the audience are supposed to think this is that the guy is like crouching down, pointing the camera up over this fake mound of garbage. But it just creates a confusing perspective because how tall is that pile right there supposed to be? It looks like it's going up to the guy's belly button or at least his waist or something. However, if we look back at the actual shots where the garbage is being dumped, it only goes up to about the middle of the tire or just the back of the dumping area of the truck. Maybe as tall as that guy's thigh. You can see there I put a little line. This shot here when the deli owner is running over to yell at the guy as he's running past, it doesn't go much lower than this, but it looks like the garbage pile is only about as tall as his knees or something, which makes it even stranger when you cut to one of the infamous shots and it seems to be taking up more than half this guy's body. Last thing I want to point out about the scene before we get really deep into the 3 infamous fake garbage shots is look at Richie Aprile's hand movement when he walks into this office here. You gotta slow-mo that down. Look at that. Look at that. I gotta start doing that. Hey. All right, let's begin for real now. This point has been brought up in my previous Strange Edits videos, and I think it's a valid thing to address, is that back in the day, when you were watching this live as it aired for the first time, and if you weren't expecting this, you probably wouldn't have even noticed. So, in a sense, these edits, yeah, they're passable. You watch it once, and the scene will keep moving, and you'll go, oh, okay, looks a little weird, but whatever. As I'm nitpicking this, I don't mean to imply that I'm smarter and a better editor than any of these people who made this. They're all professionals. They made one of the best TV shows of all time. We're just going to have some nitpicking fun. Let's get into this. As far as the visual quality of this edit, I think the first shot with the store owner in the foreground, I think this looks the best. It's the least bothersome to me of these three shots. There are definitely some weird visual things going on here. Let's play this in regular speed, see if you notice anything. All right, so some of the movements look a little janky. I'm not 100% on what they did to achieve that look here, but if I had to guess, imagine that shot just without the garbage. And where that garbage was, you're probably seeing the curb and the asphalt of the parking lot, maybe the sidewalk back there. Why do I think that? Well, if you play it in slow motion, look really carefully at the edges of the store owner between where his shirt ends and the garbage starts. So I've highlighted two of the weirdest parts here. One is on the back of the store owner's neck. You can see some parts of the cutout beginning to slip here for a few frames. Look at that. Look at that. That's not right. There it is again. I think the dark colors of that visual artifact there is supposed to be, like I said, the asphalt of the parking lot. I also noticed some weird stuff towards the bottom of the image near the store owner's elbow as he's moving his arm around. You could see them there. Let's go on to the worst one for me, which is the second one, which, like I said, oddly is the shortest one. I would have just left the shot out because it's just not working. All right, let's see it in real time. Let's see that again. This shot is just under 3 seconds. It's only 2 seconds and 52 frames. However, there's a lot to unpack here. So one of the first things I noticed is the general movement of the fake pile of garbage compared to the camera movement and the movement of the rest of the scenery in the background. I'm gonna just loop this shot. Watch the way the garbage moves in relation to the rest of the real stuff in the world. I sped this up a little bit too so you can see the movement exaggerated. So in the shot, the camera only seems to be going like this. It's just doing a subtle move, pointing up to the store owner, talking on his phone. The garbage is making 3 different movements. First, it seems to be rotating into place somehow. It's like on an axis and it's going up a little bit like that. Like they have the anchor point down there and they're rotating the image. This one's subtle, but look in the lower left at the apple stem. You can see the rotation going on. After the fake pile of garbage rotates into place, it then starts to move up as a whole. Again, I slow-mo this down to like 20%, so it's pretty subtle here, but you can see the garbage as a whole is slowly moving up, and then it starts to slowly move down. It's like a floating pile of garbage here. To me, it looks like they made this fake pile of garbage image separately and tried, emphasis on tried, to follow the camera movements. Next thing I want to talk about are the actual images that compose the pile of garbage, the questionable Photoshop job going on here. Got some stock images of garbage or took some behind the scenes photos of still images of the garbage that fell out of the garbage truck and then just did a very kind of job of stitching them together. But what exactly is going on here? I think the biggest problem with this is that they just repeated certain images over and over. So to illustrate this, first I'm going to highlight just this one little corner of garbage on the lower left part of the screen. Notice this little red and white thing. Right under that you got this orange thing. To the right there's some greenery. And then look at this. It's like the exact same thing. And then there's one more all the way on the right. That's crazy. It's exactly the same. But that's not all. They did it again a little farther up in the image. Notice this, you got some green on the left, green on the right. Oh, there it is again. And whoa, there it is again. When you put these two repeated image sets together and then blend in the original shot, you can get a better idea of what's going on here. Look at that. They fit together. It's the same thing over and over. Let's start to blend him in and whoa, there, just your repeated pile of garbage. Oh, I love that. The other strange thing to talk about the shot is that if you look right to the right of center in this image, you will see an apple flying over the garbage pile and seems to hit the garbage pile and then bounce off. I'm going to play this on loop so you can see it. This just gets weirder and weirder the more things I notice. Obviously, the fake pile of garbage is not there, and I think maybe behind this fake mound of garbage is a production intern or someone who had an apple and went whoop right on cue. That looks so weird, especially in this frame right here. I don't know what's going on. There's like some weird streak effect going on. Maybe that's like a shiny part of the apple. I think what they wanted us to get is that this is the store owner kicking the garbage pile in frustration, like he kicks the apple up. He's like, ah, damn it. This shot is short and weird enough. Why make it any weirder by throwing in this flying apple? To illustrate the weirdness of this choice even further, I'm going to throw in some green screen tomatoes flying across the image. Look at that. Garbage flying everywhere. Next thing I want to talk about is kind of strange, and it applies to all 3 fake garbage image shots. I think this has something to do with the aspect ratios or the way this was digitally up converted. Maybe it doesn't 100% exactly meet our modern resolutions in a 1080 16:9 screen. This was intended to be watched on a 4:3 TV back in the day. This just wouldn't have been on screen, but look very carefully at the left edge of your screen and the bottom left corner. Notice anything? Well, I'm going to slow this way down and zoom way in for you. You see that black line there? That is the edge of the frame of film that they shot, and going over that black line is the fake image of garbage they added in post-production. You can see that the two don't clearly, totally, perfectly match up. Look at that, and the way the car goes past it. That was the left border of the screen. Now I'm going to show you what's going on the bottom. You could see the, I don't know, JPEG image of the fake garbage just lifting up just a little bit from the actual frame. It's subtle, but what? Look at that. There we go. I think that light stuff right there, that's the curb in the guy's parking lot under the JPEG of garbage. The third fake pile of garbage shot, there is not as much movement as the first two. It is held on screen for the longest, so you have more time to fixate on the repeating image of fake junk here. It's not the exact same repeated image of fake junk as in image 2. You get what's going on. Shot number 3 doesn't have much movement, so it doesn't look that bad. Considering that this is just a fake pile of garbage image that they made in post-production and just stuck over their frame, I'm gonna put some other stuff in front of this frame for fun. Let's see. Well, I could put my own pile of garbage in. Look at that. I just got this from Google. Looks like a bunch of cardboard or something. Why'd you leave all this cardboard in front of my store? Or maybe it's autumn. Why'd you leave all these leaves in front of my store? Or maybe Richie Aprile was feeling generous. Why'd you leave all this money in front of my store? Or maybe Tony's playing a prank on someone. Why'd you leave all this gabagool in front of my store? So that covers all I have to say for my breakdown of the actual editing going on in those strange shots. However, I do have something to say about that actual physical location. And look, it's like the same thing. You see where they dumped the garbage? There's no more parking lines there. They've paved this over a few times. This seems to be one of those corner stores that always has a hard time catching a break. It's changed owners a bunch of times. At one point, it was the West Main Deli. At another point, it was the Revive Deli. At another point, it was Bibiana's Kitchen. That was all in the past. However, now as I'm making this video, there seems to be a new Italian restaurant in that location that is doing very well. It's called Popolari. I think that's how you say it, Popolari. The reason I'm sharing this is because as I was researching all this, I found something hilarious with the reviews for this restaurant. All the reviews seem to be very good for this restaurant. People like going there, they have family parties, but you can always find one crazy person leaving just a negative review out of nowhere. But this guy says disgusting atmosphere with a whole bunch of vomiting emojis. So the restaurant itself replied to this guy's review, showing a screenshot that he just spams them with the same type of comments over and over. And then under the screenshot, the restaurant also just wrote, "You need therapy," with a laughing emoji. And then that crazy person wrote back to the restaurant, "Popolari, I am well off spiritually, mentally, and physically, thanks to Jesus Christ. The same cannot be said about you, you disgusting stupid." If you've made it to this point in the video, thank you very much. I appreciate it, as always. And I hope you... If you made it to this point in the video, thank you very much. I appreciate it as always. And let me know if there's any other Sopranos strange edits or just strange edits in general that you want me to do a deep dive into. So until next time, you disgusting stupids. Okay, goodbye.